And there was a tease about Tom Hanks and what some NPR writer said about him. And the tease was the writer said Tom Hanks is a non-racist. Not enough. Not enough to be a non-racist if you're white. So the guy named Eric Deakins, Deegans, based upon his picture, he appears to be a black man. I'm sorry, African-American. Appears to be a black man. And he wrote a piece called Tom Hanks is a non-racist. It's time for him to be an anti-racist. Now keep in mind, NPR, which means, Mr. McConnell, you helped pay for this article. You financed this article. You subsidized this article. You are subsidizing this man's lifestyle with your taxpayer dollars. Now, since we're paying for these articles, don't you think maybe they ought to run them by us before they publish them? No? Listen to this. Quote, Mr. Deggins writes, Tom Hanks recently wrote an essay in the New York Times urging more widespread teaching of the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre. The Oscar winner has built a career on movies about American white men doing the right thing. Talked about Philadelphia. He talked about Forrest Gump. Says he's been an advocate for gay rights and environmentalism. Helped us to get through the pandemic. Great guy. But he says, not enough. Quote, he's built a career playing righteous white men. Can I pause here and suggest something, Mr. McConnell? If he had built a career playing righteous black men, he'd be accused of blackface. So it's hard to, and he is white, so he continues, quote, after many years of speaking about race and media in America, I know the toughest thing for some white Americans, especially those who consider themselves advocates against racism, is to admit how they were personally and specifically connected to the elevation of white culture over other cultures. Tom Hanks is guilty of elevating white culture over other cultures. So when Tom, I guess, does a movie like Captain Phillips about the guy that was going through that area where they were engaging in piracy, I guess that's the elevation of white culture over other cultures. I guess I'm going along just as you guys are. Over the years, starred in a lot of big movies about historical events. He says, Saving Private Ryan, Greyhound. I don't remember Greyhound. Do you? Greyhound? Forrest Gump, Apollo 13, Bridge of Spies, News of the World. Served as producer, executive producer of da-da-da-da. Quote, in other words, he is a baby boomer star who has built a sizable part of his career on stories about American white men doing the right thing. Doing the right thing, not white thing. Doing the right thing. But the stories often leave out black contribution. He's not alone. Superstar director Steven Spielberg, similar pedigree. Notwithstanding occasional projects like Color Purple and Amistad, fellow director Ron Howard, these stories of white Americans smashing the Nazi war machine or riding rockets into space are important, but they leave out how black soldiers return home from fighting World War II to find they weren't allowed to use the GI Bill to secure home loans. That should be part of the movie? All right. He continues, and understand, I'm not saying Hanks, Howard, or Spielberg are racist. Good to know. I'm not even saying that Hanks should have made or supported a film specifically about Tulsa Massacre long before now. If he really wants to make a difference, Hanks and other stars need to talk about how their work has contributed to these problems and how they will change. They need to make specific commitments to changing the conversation in story subjects, casting, and execution. That is the truly hard work of building change. And how their responsibility now lies with helping dismantle and broaden the ideas they cement in the American mind. That's their responsibility. So, Tom Hanks, it ain't enough for you to be a non-racist. You're a good guy. I heard he's contributed over 30 different charities. gay rights advocate, environmentalism, Democrat. Not enough. You have elevated white culture over other cultures, and you, sir, need to atone by making films that do not elevate. I was thinking, as I was reading this, you know the ultimate white savior film? Superman. Superman. White guy from another planet comes here to rescue the world. The ultimate white savior movie. We got to do something about that. My goodness. All these James Bond movies, white savior movies. Jason Bourne. Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise, you next. White culture, you know, like hosted Twinkies, cupcakes, Wonder Bread. White culture, Ungawa, white culture power. Tom Hanks, you shall atone. You shall atone. He didn't say anything about reparations, though, did he?